mouth-watering root vegetable pies, just amazing.
Excellent.
Hi there foodies, welcome to the channel. Please subscribe to be notified of future videos. Hello, my name is Nadine, welcome to Top Nosh. Today we will make a lovely root vegetable pie, nice and hearty for winter. This recipe is actually from one of my favorite authors, Yotam Ottolenghi, and I really love his style of cooking. You probably noticed as well, this is my kind of cooking, so this recipe you will find as well in his book. I've just changed it slightly and I really value his food, what he cooks. So let's start. This recipe gives us 6 portions of our muffin tray size. Big size, so if you want to make a little bit more, you might just double it. It goes very easy. Just also saying, this is not a promotion for this book. I just really enjoy his recipes and that's why I decided I just want to do something out of this book.
Video 1, scene 3, second take and action.
For our ingredients, for our dough, we're going to need 240 gram of normal cake flour, 190 gram of unsalted butter cut into pieces and kept cold. And for the rest, we're going to need a lot of different spices. And we are having here 1 teaspoon of very nice curry powder, 2 teaspoons of cumin, or you could also use caraway, 2 teaspoons of mustard seeds, I use the black one, 1 cardamom. You can use half a chili, I used a teaspoon of chili sauce, 2 cloves of garlic, 1 big onion, 100 gram of parsnip or turnip, I use turnip in this one, 100 gram of carrots, 1 big potato equals plus minus 140 gram, 250 gram of butternut. If you don't have butternut, you can use squash or sweet potato. 60 gram of sour cream, 120 gram of cheddar cheese grated or any nice mature cheese, 15 gram of chopped coriander, 250 milliliters of vegetable stock, 1 egg for brushing our pie, and some olive oil for frying our ingredients. Half a teaspoon of castor sugar, 1 small sprig of fresh thyme. We will start with our pastry, so for this you can use any food processor you like. I don't have a normal food processor, so I'm going to use my Thermomix, but seriously anything easy what you have, which you don't have to mix it by yourself, will do the trick. So we're going to combine our weighed out flour. If you don't use your flour often, sieve it first, then it's looser. Your cold cut unsalted butter and our sour cream. So we will mix this in the machine until it's a nice firm dough and then we knead it on our table. You don't need to knead that dough very much, you just want to basically combine it. If it is becoming too sticky for you, you can add a little bit of flour to this, otherwise just combining, then we will wrap it and rest it for 30 minutes in the fridge. Here's a little cooking school tip. Even myself, sometimes if I try a new recipe, I get sometimes overwhelmed and there is a lot of ingredients. So a little tip of what I always teach my students in the school, especially when you have lots of ingredients, group them the way you need them. So for example, you will see here I've put like little rows together. This is how I would start. So if I start frying, I'm not going, oh my god, I need now this and now I have forgotten this. So especially when you try something new or you're making a recipe which is a bit more intricate, don't be too shy to actually try it out. So I've put my spices all in one row, and then my next ingredients, which I would add them in my vegetables already pre-cut, so I can concentrate exactly what's happening now in my pot. So for this now I'm gonna switch on my pot and we're gonna start frying first our fresh spices with a bit of olive oil. Make sure your pot is hot. You don't want to get it too hot because otherwise your spices will burn. So I'm gonna start with my curry powder and my cumin, cardamom seeds and mustard seeds. If you're not sure when you add your next ingredient, you will actually smell when you're gonna add your next ingredient. The moment you smell all the spices coming out, that's when you can add your chili and your garlic, your thyme and your onion. If you feel at any point that it needs a little bit more oil to it, don't be shy, add a little bit more. You don't want to burn it. And I'm going to reduce my heat now to low heat, so it's a gentle heating and the flavors can go into your onion. So this we're going to let cook for 4 minutes now. We are going to add now our cut root vegetables, so you can as well use parsnip if you like. I have here potato, carrots and turnips. I would also try celeriac, unfortunately I couldn't find it in the shops. So we're frying out the spices with the onion, it gave it all the flavor, so now all this flavor gets transferred now to our root vegetables. At this point I am increasing a little bit my temperature so it can cook better. And I'm letting this fry for a minute or two, and then I will add my vegetable stock, 250 milliliter. You can use any store-bought one which you mix with the water, or you can make your own one. Unfortunately you can't smell it, it smells incredible. So now at this point I'm adding my stock. And I promise we're going to make one video where I show you how you can make your own vegetable stock. We will cover our pot and we're going to let it simmer for another 5 minutes now, or 5 to 10 minutes, so that our vegetables become soft. 5 minutes have passed and now I'm adding my butternut. You also need to add a little bit of sweetness to this, so our sugar. If you don't like sugar, you want to cut it out, honey will do the trick too. And we haven't added any salt yet. Little tip, if you're using a shop-bought vegetable stock, be careful, they might be on the salty side, so do not add too much salt when you season your veggies now. My one is homemade, so it's not so salty. And we're gonna cover this with a lid and continue cooking for another 5 minutes. I've noticed my stock liquid was not a lot, so if you find that the liquid has cooked away a bit too much, add a little bit of water before you're burning it. If you have too much liquid at the end, you can just let it cook without the lid to get the extra liquid rid of. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of water to our stock, or our vegetable. Oh my god, that is smelling so delicious.
Oh man.
I wish you could smell that.
Yeah, you do.
The consistency looks perfect. You want to have it a little bit of moist, roughly like 3 to 5 tablespoons left in your pot. So now we have to check if our veggies are soft. And yes, they are. If you have too much liquid left in your pot, let it cook a little bit further without your lid, so you're reducing your liquid inside there. Otherwise, if you find it's ready, we're going to transfer this into a bowl so it can cool down, and once it's cool, we're going to add our remaining ingredients, our chopped coriander and our cheese. My little prick of thyme, I'm taking that one out, the rest has cooked in. My mixture has cooled down, and once it's cold, we are going to add our cheddar cheese and coriander. Then we have to taste it if it needs a little bit more salt. It tastes like heaven, but I still want to add a little pinch of salt. So I'm going to set this aside while we roll out our pastry and use this for the filling then. And at the same time, I'm going to switch my oven on to 180 degrees so it can warm up while we're busy with the pastry. Before you start rolling out your pastry, you can use your muffin tray tins and either use spray and cook or butter. I'm going to use extra virgin olive oil and I'm going to brush this. Let's put this aside and start rolling out our pastry. Use a little bit of extra flour so it doesn't stick to your table, and I prefer to use a smaller amount, so I'm going to cut this in half and start with half the amount. Any rolling pin will do. I prefer the marble one because it's more heavy and it's easier to roll out with this. If you feel like in mine that there is little cracks, you can easily push it together and you need to loosen it in between from the table. I have a ring which is easier to cut out to the right size. So this will be the base, so we're going to need 6 of these rings, and then we need 6 smaller rings which will be the top for covering our pies. As you can see, my circles are not perfect, so you don't need to stress, they don't have to be perfect because we have to line it and we can still push it into the corners if there is a break or if there is a piece missing. So what we do with the leftover of this and of this one, we can re-roll it out, and that will be for our top. Once you kind of line them all, and even if it doesn't look perfect, you don't need to stress about it. We have to even the top. So for this you can use a small knife and we're going to cut it even on top. So now we're going to look which ring will fit perfectly on top, and that we're going to use to cut out our 6 other rings for the topping. Little tip, if you don't have a cutter at home, you can also use a water glass or a cup, what fits the right size. let's fill them and finish them.
Yes, please, I'm hungry.
Pies are filled. We're gonna need a little bit of egg to stick our top on, and we're gonna brush it as well on top so it will have a nice beautiful color on the end. And you probably noticed it's 7 now. I had a little bit of dough left and some mixture left, so you actually get 1 extra out.
Awesome.
Brush on top. Use the fork to pinch the sides together, and as well it makes it look pretty at the end. Before we put them in the oven, we're going to let this finished pie, or finished uncooked pie, rest for 5 to 10 minutes in the oven. By the time our oven should be hot, and then we will bake it by 200 degrees for 20 to 30 minutes. I had let this pie stand a little bit because it was just too hot that I would be able to take them out. So I'm going to take them out now, present them nicely, and I hope you will have as much fun making them, as much fun as I had making them. Look at this, how beautiful. It smells divine. Thank you so much for watching this video. I very much appreciate it. If you enjoyed that video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you like. If there's a dish you would like me to make, please leave me a message in the comments. Remember, as long as you cook from the heart, your food will always be delicious.